if you ride your dirt bike at wide open throttle a lot, your main jet isn't optional. It decides whether your engine lives or dies. I'm Kelly Fager from MXHideout, and if you're new to carb tuning, I just want to break down and share what the main jet is, where it's located, how it works, and some simple tips to make your bike more reliable, and how to know if it's going to blow up if you're going too rich or too lean on the jetting. So first, where is the main jet located on your carburetor? Well, if you take the carb and you look at the bottom, you got the float bowl. It's usually held on by 3 or 4 screws. You pop those screws out, pull the float bowl off, and then you can see some brass pieces sticking out, and it's the main jet is typically the little brass jet that's sticking out the farthest. So when it's on the bike, it's the lowest jet down. On a Keihin dirt bike carb, it's typically hex shaped, requires a 6mm to remove and install, and the best way to compare it to a pilot jet is the main jet is shorter but fatter or stubbier, whereas the pilot jet is skinnier and longer. The main jet will also have a higher number stamped on it. For example, it could be like 160 or like 380, whereas a pilot jet will have a smaller number like 20 or 40. Okay, that's great, but if you already know that, what does it actually do? Well, the main jet, it simply controls the amount of fuel flowing through it into the engine at a certain throttle position. A lot of riders I talk to think jetting is really complicated, but it's really not. A carb is just controlling how much fuel is flowing through it to the engine, and depending on the jets you have in there, the mixture could be too rich, so too much fuel, or too lean, which is not enough fuel. But the important part about the main jet is that it controls the fuel mixture from roughly 3/4 to full throttle. The main jet will determine if it's too rich or too lean. If you're new to carb tuning and not sure how to tell if your bike is running right, I encourage you to grab my free guide. It's the 6 alarming signs that your dirt bike is running too rich or too lean. You can click the link in the description below to grab that. So this means that if you're riding at a lower to moderate RPM, like if you're a casual trail rider like me, you're not spending much time on the main jet. That's going to be more on the pilot jet and needle position. So even if your main jet is way off and you're riding at a lower RPM, you're not likely to blow up the engine because at a lower RPM, the engine isn't creating as much heat. So even if it is too lean, it might get a little bit hotter, but not hot enough to overheat and burn down your piston, at least not in a matter of minutes. However, if you're an aggressive racer or you just like holding throttle wide open, maybe riding up steep, long hills or in deep sand and you just got to hold the throttle wide open, this is where the main jet is extremely critical, because if the main jet is too small and you're constantly at wide open throttle, that'll make it run too lean and it will overheat quicker, it'll detonate, and this is when the piston and top end can burn down very quickly. And on the flip side, if it's running too rich, it's going to have worse throttle response, it's not going to have as much power, and all that unburnt fuel can turn into carbon deposits, which require more maintenance to clean. It can make your bike run worse, and it can also cause stuff in the engine like the piston ring to stick over time and lose compression or even cause damage. So you want to make sure that the main jet is dialed in just right if you're riding at wide open throttle. Now, if you want to know specifically how to tell if your main jet is running too rich or too lean, I got a popular video here that'll tell you certain symptoms and signs that'll give you a better idea. What do you think? Did this video help you understand the main jet better? I'd like to hear in the comments below. I'm Kelly Fager from MXHideout. Ride safe, have fun.